Hello, welcome to the San Marcos Public Library's Workforce Development YouTube channel. This is a two-part series I'll be making today about getting started and developing and editing a resume with Google Documents. So if you already have a Google account, you already have a Gmail account, and you're familiar with Google Drive and how to use Google Docs, you can skip on over to the second part of this video series where you'll get more specific information about Google Docs in resumes and how to edit resumes, how to find templates for resumes using Google Documents. If you are like many library patrons and don't have a Google account yet, that is where I'm going to start in this video here. I noticed a lot of people at the library use other kinds of emails, which are great. But the nice thing about having a Google email, which is called Gmail, is that you have access to the whole suite of programs and apps that Google has developed, very high quality programs, and all for free with your Gmail or Google account. So I'm going to start here with this video and assume that you don't have a Google account so that we can start with square one and everybody can go together in learning about Google Documents and Google Drives and everything that you can do with that. Google Drive, you've heard me say that, is a service from Google that allows you to have documents that are very similar to the suite of Microsoft Office. So you have documents, spreadsheets, presentations, just like in Microsoft. You might have Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. There are some advantages with using Google Drive. For one, it is free if you have the internet. I know here at my home, I don't have Microsoft Office because it's expensive. You have to subscribe to it. And I find that I have everything I need with Google Documents. I can even save as the file format for Microsoft, which is docx. So really everything that you can do in Microsoft, you can also find a way to do that with inside of Google and for free. And I know right now we're still in coronavirus time and a lot of people don't have access to the same computers that they were using regularly at their office or place of business, the library, wherever they were using the other computer. Now stuck at home, we may not have access to those same sources, and we might just have a phone or tablet, laptop, any way that you can get on the internet and get a web browser. You can go to google.com and you can access all of these apps and programs. So let's get started. If you already have a Google account, you would press sign in. If you don't have a Google account, I'm going to start in the same place, this blue button, the top corner. I'm going to press sign in. And here, if you do not have an account, you see create account right here. So I'm going to click that, click from myself. And here is where you can create your Google account. It only takes a second. It's totally free. You'll put in your first name, your last name, and this is where you're going to enter in your Gmail account, the one that you give out to everyone else. So you want to make sure that it's professional, that you don't give any private information, something that is going to be easy for you to remember also, but unique, because you can't have the same email that someone else does. So sometimes people are putting their name with some letters, so it says you can use letters, numbers, and periods. Here you'll make your password, and you'll confirm your password by putting it in twice. If you want to be able to see your password, you can click this little eyeball, so that can help you know what you just typed in, so you can make sure you don't have any typos. You'll hit next, and there's a couple other questions, but really it only takes a second and you'll be into your Google account. I am going to sign in instead because I already have a Google account. And by Google account, I mean Gmail account. They are the same thing. So I'm going to put in my email, which is superdeborah@gmail.com. And I'm going to click next. And I'm going to put my password. Nobody look. Just kidding, you can't see it. Okay, so now I am in, and I know I'm logged in because I can see my little picture there, or sometimes it has your initial right here. And this is all of the aspects of my account and even where I sign out at the end. So congratulations on signing in and having a Google account. Right here, you'll see a block of tiny squares, and these are all of the Google apps. There's so many of them. There's even more than these, but these are some of the most common ones. You may have used Google Maps. You've probably used some of these services before without even knowing it. These days, our kids are in Google Classrooms. You can use Google Hangouts to do the same thing as FaceTime or even Zoom. There are so many apps that Google owns and runs that are very high quality and free. So for this session, we are going to be using Google Drive, which is this triangle right here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Because I've been using Drive for a while, you can see that it's going to load lots of different things that I've been using for a while. For many years, I've been using Google Docs. But when you're getting started, you will just create a new one, which you can click here by pressing this plus button. So here we have the options of a new folder, a new file upload, a new folder upload, Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, and way more. So you can see the variety of applications that Google Docs has, and we will look at these one at a time so that you will feel familiar with each of these. One of the really nice things about Google Drive is that you can upload a file, and you can upload files from different file types. So when I want to upload a Word document, that is still possible using this. So I can press open and it will load up a Word document, which is really nice to be able to do that. That way you can switch between the functionality of Word and Google Docs, and you can save it as after you've been modifying a document within Google, you can save it as a Word document, or if you're submitting a resume into a website, you can save it as a PDF or a DocX document and submit it that way. So there's a lot of ways that you can save your Google Docs. I wanted to show you these one at a time so that you're familiar with the differences between them. Here I'm going to first open a Google Docs, and this is really what we'll go back to using. This is most like Microsoft Word. As you can see, it's got some of the same toolbars. It looks very, very similar. So I'm going to go back and just open these one at a time just to see what these are. And go ahead and do this on your own computer too, just to play with it. And now you can see we have a spreadsheet. So this looks a lot like Microsoft Excel, where you can create budgets and you can create formulas. And going back, Google Slides. So here you have Microsoft PowerPoint, where you can create slides for any kind of presentation that you might do. And there are lots of templates for that, luckily. But we're going to go back, and there are more. There are ways to draw, make maps, even do some coding, and some forms. This is really great. All of these templates up here are really great with the forms. But we are going to go back to Google Docs because that's what you will be using for a resume. So let's look at this closely and see what we have here. Similar to Microsoft Word, you have File, Edit, View, Insert Format, this toolbar up top. So here you can open a document from your computer that's saved in any kind of format like a DocX. And here's where you'll be able to download your work after you have created a document. You can download it in any of these file formats. Let's see, up here is where you will title your document. So I'm going to title it Carter's resume. And that will be the name once you download it. And I don't know if you saw up here when I was typing, it automatically started saving. If you can see, I'll just type in here, Deborah Carter's resume. And then you can see up here where it says saving, and you have to get it real fast because it saves so quickly. Google Documents auto-save, so you don't have to worry about saving. It will save almost at every letter you press, so you never have to worry about that. Even if your computer crashes or you forget about it, you can open up from where you started, even if you're opening from a different device. So you might have worked on something on your phone and not saved it, but later you're at a friend's house, you can bring it up on their desktop just by logging into your Gmail account and going over to your drives. You'll see all the work that you have been doing, which is a really nice feature. You don't have to worry about it. One of the things that we're going to be looking at today is the templates. And templates, what those are pre-designed documents. So they have all of the custom formatting and designs that you might want to use, like if you're making a resume or a newsletter or anything like that. So you would do that, you would go to, I'm going to search in here for templates. I'm going to type in template gallery because I do love what comes up there. That's not really giving me what I want. Here we go. Google Docs, a blank document, which is where we were before, or from a template. And this is where finally I'm getting the gallery of templates that I want. You can see up here it says template gallery. And again, the way that I got there is I went to new, to Google Docs, and then this little arrow over here and to from a template. And that brought up this page, which has all of these templates. Again, you can always go back to a blank one if that's what you prefer. And you're just looking at the thumbnails here, so you can't really see it. It's all pretty small, but you can see what it's going to look like in general. Here's the one with pictures and some project proposals. So I'm going to go back up here and just click on this first one, the experiment resume. And here already you have a really nice beginning to a resume where you would just put in your own information, make it your own, and then voila, that is done. So let's see, let's look at, before we get ahead of ourselves, in the second video, I'm going to show you more about the modifications of these. But since this video is meant to be more of a startup video where we're just practicing with some of the features, I'm going to kind of back up and show you some of those. So here is where you can change the title. I'm going to put Carter's resume. Carter's resume. And okay. So let's look carefully at the board up here of features. Under File, we went over that you have Share, and this is an interesting option that's specific to Google Docs where you can share and collaborate. A new, open, make a copy, download things, rename, move, or move to trash. Those are some of the typical things you would do under File. Under Edit, undo and redo. So you don't have to worry about making a mistake. I love Control-Z. Anytime that you make a mistake in Microsoft Word or the internet, definitely in Google Docs, you can press Control-Z or this little back arrow and it undoes any issues that you've been having. you can definitely copy and paste into into Google Docs. So insert, similar to Microsoft Word, you can insert an image either from the web or one that you're uploading from your computer, inserting a table, a drawing, charts, headers and footers. So you can see these are a lot of the same functionalities that you would have. Word count, so it automatically will spell check for you and grammar check, which is a really nice feature. Another nice thing is voice typing, which if you have an issue with typing, I'm going to hit click to speak and we'll see if this will work. I'm going to allow it to use my microphone, and now you can see it is typing as I am talking. So this is a really nice way to type something out if you are looking at other documents, or if you have writer's block and you want to talk out some ideas. I do love using this aspect, and I use it in emails and all kinds of things. I'm going to go back because I was just oh, and it was giving us the tip that you can say new line or period to go to a new line. So that is a very cool feature. Last edit was seconds ago, so you can even open the version history if you want to go back to where you were at a previous time. But I don't really need it to show changes, and I don't really need that to happen. So I'm going to go back. If you are sharing this with me, so one thing people do is they will share a resume with me and we'll work on it together. And they'll be at their house and I'll be here and we'll both be working on it together. And I can open comments. I can place comments so that I can say it might be a good idea to have more specific ideas here. So that I'm not modifying the document itself, just making suggestions off in the margin. But the share button is very important to sharing. Right now it's private only to me, which is the default. So when you're working on a Google Doc, you can rest assured that only you can see it unless you're choosing to share it. In that case, you can add people who you would want to share it with by putting in people that are already in your contacts, or by putting their email that you have. So I'm just gonna bring some, it shows like my friends there. And I am saying that she can be either a viewer to, and this is common if you want to share something broadly, but you don't want people to be able to edit it. Commenters, they can't edit the document itself, but they can make suggestions off in the margin like we looked at, or editor. And usually I'm using editor because I want people to be able to work alongside me. And that looks really cool when they're typing and you're typing. It saves it constantly and you can see where they're typing, you can see where you're typing, and that collaborative feature is not something new with Google Docs, but it definitely has been useful. I know that a lot of companies are getting into that, even Microsoft, but since Google has been doing it for so long, their methods are so seamless, it's so quick. So after you have finished updating your resume, which we are going to be doing on the second video, you can save it. You don't have to save it if it's going into your Google Drive. It's already saved. But you can save it if you want to download it. So here I'm going to download it as a Microsoft Word because I want to submit it to somebody at my company, and I know that they're going to want to open it as a Google Doc. And when they open it, they will not be able to tell that I've made this. I happen to have Microsoft on this computer, so I just want to show you that this document will open in Microsoft Word without any issues. So let me move it over so that my screen share is matched up. So you can see this is Microsoft Word. It looks so similar, but you can go back and forth between Google Docs and Microsoft Word, and you won't have any issues there, which actually is a newish feature in Google, that you can go back and forth between this web-based document and Microsoft Office products. So that completes this, except that I do want to show you, if you go back, I'm going to kind of go back to Google so that you can see how to access this from any place on Earth. You'll log into your Gmail account as we did before, and then here you go to your drive. Your drive is, you can think of it like your hard drive, but it's a cloud-based hard drive. So it's not storing on your computer, it's storing at a center far, far away that's completely backed up. It's very safe. So here we have the stuff that I've been using for years, including the things that we have just done. So even though I didn't specifically save it, it auto-saved it, and I can bring up anything that I've been working on, and it's so easy. So this completes our beginning session of how to create a Google account, how to open Google Drives, and how to open a Google document from a template. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope to see you in the next video for more specifics on making that resume and updating it and finding more templates for resumes. Thanks for joining me. Bye.